FlossTube, it's Kat from Cross Stitch Chaos. I said in my last video that it had been forever since I did a video. No, now it's been forever since I did a video. It's been almost 3 months, and that's because I mentioned in my last video that I got a new job at Kings Island. I'm now working 2 jobs, technically 3 if you count driving for Uber and Lyft, but I haven't done that much either. But I've been averaging like 60 hours a week, sometimes 70. We have what we call Hell Week at Kings Island, which is in late April, early May. It's like mid-May, I think it is, where the park is open through the week, but schools aren't out yet. So everybody who is still in high school or college can't work. So all of us who can work like doubles every single day. So I worked like 7 doubles in a row. I worked, I think it was 13 out of 14 days that week, or those 2 weeks. So I haven't really had much time to stitch, let alone do videos. I haven't made a whole lot of progress on any of my whips, but I will show you what I have done. One of them I said originally was a secret, but I'm 99% certain who the person who it's for doesn't watch my videos. So I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you. I'm actually gonna show you that first. So this is called Tiki Room, and it is by Pedal Pusher on Etsy. Here it is. It's based on the Enchanted Tiki Room at Walt Disney World. This is for my sister because she is in love with the Tiki Room. So it's stitched on. This is 28 count Jogelin, and it's called Lazy River, and it's by Witchelt. I don't know how you pronounce it. Witchelt. It's hand dyed by Witchelt. Again, Lazy River is the title of that. I think it's cool. It's like that pretty green. And then eventually this is what it's gonna look like. Got a little tiki man down here and all the different birds and flowers and stuff like that. So you can see I'm about halfway done with it. So this is my travel project. I try to keep a travel project handy at all times. I take my grandma to go get her hair done every Tuesday. And while she's getting her hair done, I'm usually stitching. So this is my project that I've been working on while she's getting her hair done. So most of this project has been on the go progress. So that's why there's so much on it, is because that's one of the few times I actually get to sit and stitch. So the other whip that I've made a lot of progress on is my chatelaine. And if you guys will remember, I'm working on the Polar Mandala. And I wanted to get the center section done, which is, it's charted for either 1/1 or 2/2. And I chose to stitch it 1/1 because I liked the additional detail it gave. The downside of that is it makes for really slow progress because they're very tiny stitches. So it's kind of like stitching a heaven and earth. But the nice thing is the level of detail is also like a heaven and earth. So this is my progress on it. Last time you saw it, it had very, very little done. This is taking a lot of time. As you can see, those are very, very small stitches. Very small stitches. But look at that beautiful detail and those beautiful colors. I love the colors in this piece. So it's gonna be fantastic when the center section is done. This is the Northern Lights in the middle, as you can probably tell. The bottom of it is right about here. I'm about 1/4 of the way finished with that center section. I haven't started on any of the specialty stitches or the specialty threads yet, so I haven't gotten to like the scary part of it for me, which is all the specialty stuff. But I'm really pleased with how that's looking. The third whip I haven't actually made any progress on. That's Enjoy the Ride, which is the stitch along from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, which you can see still looks the same as last time you saw it, but now it's got a big old crease in the middle because it's been folded up and it's been pressed in between a bunch of books because I lost this piece for like 2 months. So that's why I'm so far behind and haven't had any work done on it, because I took it off the Q snap that Tiki Room is on so I could work on Tiki Room because I had caught this up and I was waiting for the next pattern to come out in like 2 weeks. And then it somehow got stuck in between a bunch of patterns, and you know, it's this big when it's folded up. I couldn't find it because it wasn't with all of my whips. I keep my whips in one place and then my patterns are in a different place, and it was stuck in between a bunch of the patterns, and I didn't even think to look, you know, pull apart the patterns and look for them. There it is. So the cool thing about this is, I've been saying since the beginning, that I hope there's gonna be a roller coaster on it. So May's pattern is a roller coaster. Oh, I'm so excited. And then June's is this rubber ducky, which I love rubber duckies, I collect them, and a carousel horse. And we've already talked about my obsession with carousels. So again, it's like this piece was made for me. It's all my favorite things. So I'm super excited to get caught up on this. So this is what I'm gonna try to catch up on this soon. And the reason I'm gonna try to catch up on this is because I'm going to StitchCon. If you're not familiar with it, it's organized by Nicole from Buckeye Stitcher, Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching, and Weasley Studios. And I was on the wait list since like February, probably. Yeah, that's about right, February. And I was like, there's no chance. When I signed up, I was like number 80 on the waiting list. Well, apparently they've had cancellations, and when they had the last minute cancellations, a lot of people were like, oh, I can't get off work with that little notice. Well, I can. So when they got to me, I got a private message from Stephanie saying, hey, we had a last minute cancellation. Are you interested? And I was like, yeah, duh. So I got that paid for, and I'm going to StitchCon. It starts on Thursday. So my birthday is on Monday, which is in 2 days. And so like basically for my birthday, I'm going to StitchCon. So I'm very excited about that. So I want to have this caught up before StitchCon. That way I can work. I'm going to probably mostly work on my chatelaine, but I'm making a list of what I'm taking with me. I'm taking my George Washington project. I'm taking at least one in Heaven and Earth. I'm taking my chatelaine, and this, if I'm not caught up on it, that's going to be my primary goal. So, the other thing that's happening during StitchCon is Caterpillar Cross Stitch is coming out with a new stitch along, and it's going to start June 22nd, which is during StitchCon. I think it's that Friday, the Friday of StitchCon. And it's called Adventure Awaits, and this is some screenshots of the previews. And it's going to be like this little like world map made out of all these little motifs about travel. And I'm really excited about it because I love to travel. And the timing is perfect because my husband and I are getting ready to take our first international trip. I mentioned before that we were planning on going on a cruise for our anniversary this year. Our plans have changed a little bit. When I was pricing out our cruise, by the time you added in all of the excursions that we'd want to do and the travel to and from the cruise port, I was like, I wonder where else we could travel for that much money. So I was kind of like just kind of looking around at plane tickets, and I found a flight to London for half the price of our cruise. So I figured by the time we pay for hotels and food and everything, it's going to come out to be about the same price as going on that cruise would be for 8 days. So instead, we are going to England for 8 days in October, and I'm so excited. So if you are from the UK or you've been to the UK and you have suggestions on things that we cannot miss, please let me know. Like right down there. Comment, be like, hey, you've got to go to this place, or you need to go here, or go to this shop, or anything like that. We are definitely going to London. We're going to go to Liverpool, and we're going to go to, I think it's Manchester they're going to. We're going to Alton Towers, Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and Drayton Manor are the 3 amusement parks we're doing. We're going to try to make it up to Scotland. I want to go to Glasgow and Edinburgh, and to Cardiff in Wales, because why not go to 3 different countries while we're there? We're flying in and out of London Gatwick, and we're spending at least 2 days in London. We're definitely doing the London Eye because I am, like, huge bucket list is to ride the London Eye. I'm obsessed with Ferris wheels in general, but especially the London Eye. I think it's so cool. So we're gonna ride that, and we're gonna go see a lot of the Sherlock Holmes stuff, because I mentioned before that I love the TV show Sherlock. So I want to see where it's filmed and eat at Speedy's Cafe. And we're going to go to King's Cross Station and see Platform 9 3/4 and all the Harry Potter stuff they have there. But outside of that and the amusement parks, we don't have anything planned. So send me your suggestions. Send me where you need to go. If there are any stitching meetups happening while we're there, I would love to drop by and meet some international stitchers. I'll be there October 1st through the 9th. The 6th and 7th, we are going to be, which is that weekend, I believe it's the Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be at Alton Towers and Drayton Manor, because on Monday, this past Monday, I happened to get to meet the president of the Roller Coaster Club of Great Britain. They're on their international, they just finished up their international tour of the US, and they were at Kings Island and I was working. So I got to chat with them. And he invited me to their event that they're having that weekend at Alton Towers and Drayton Manor. So I'm really excited to get to do that. Get to experience some new parks and some new places with some new friends. But other than that, we have nothing planned. I'd really like to hear what's going on, what to see, especially if you're local. Maybe some of the less touristy stuff, the things that people don't really talk about, like, you know, everybody has that stuff that like they show people who come from out of town. Tell me what that is. Tell me what I should see. Tell me what I shouldn't see. Like the tourist things. Like I know I've had so many people tell me don't bother with Stonehenge. Okay, we aren't going to bother with Stonehenge, you know, if everybody says don't bother. If there's things that you really think I should not see, that are like the typical touristy stuff, let me know. I wanna have, you know, an amazing trip. So I will listen to anything that you have to say and anything you have to suggest, and we'll try to plan around that. Okay, on to the stash, which I don't have a whole lot, but I have this like uncontrollable, I'm uncontrollable when it comes to Etsy. So, because Etsy patterns are so cheap, they're like $3 to $5 each. I can't resist a $4 pattern. I can't, it's bad. But the first thing I'm gonna show you is a rack. I've mentioned that I went to Keepsakes in Cincinnati, and I ended up becoming friends with some of the people who were kind of regulars there during their stitching nights. And Tiffany, we were talking about how much I love Disney, and she's like, hey, I have this, this kit that someone gave me, and it's not really my style or something I'd ever stitch. So she brought it to the shop and left it for me to pick up next time I was there. And it is of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. You can kind of see it's a bell pull style, so it's long and narrow. It has all the 7 dwarves and their names. However, their names are not in English. They are in, I haven't decided what language this is. I think it's Dutch. I'm not 100% certain. I think it's Dutch. And the whole pattern is in the same language. So if you can tell me what language that is, let me know. But it's the whole kit. It's the fabric, it's the threads, and the pattern. So I will add that to my list of to-dos eventually. And I really appreciate it. Thank you, Tiffany. So that's my second rack now. I feel like a real YouTuber. Yay. Other things are, I finally kitted up Cries of the Night. I showed this in one of my earlier videos. It's a Heaven and Earth. It's the wolf howling at the moon by Julie Fain. And this is going to be for my husband. I had said that I was going to surprise him with it, but I did show him the pattern and he loved it. That being said, my husband remembers nothing I ever tell him. So he's not going to remember I'm doing this for him. He's going to be surprised by it. It's lovely. So I got the fabric, and like I said and when I first showed that pattern, it's 28 count navy Lugana. It's going to be tent stitched, and there's all the thread for it. It's all these blues and blacks. So that's ready to start. That's going to be probably a start during StitchCon. The other thing that I have ready to go, this is from Little Dove Designs, which is littledovedesigns.co.uk. And it's called Black Cats and Pumpkins. And it's a sampler style, but it's not actually a sampler. It doesn't have the alphabet or numbers or anything like that I don't usually like about samplers. It says, when black cats prowl and pumpkins gleam, may luck be yours on Halloween. And I love Halloween. Halloween's my favorite holiday. I love everything to do with Halloween. And I got some witching hour. And you can't see that. Hang on. Let me put something behind it. This is from Under the Sea Fabrics, which, by the way, they're having a trunk show at StitchCon. So there's going to be a lot of Under the Sea Fabrics coming home with me, I think. My sister gave me her credit card. Maybe not the best idea. Just saying. So that's Witching Hour. It's such a beautiful fabric. I've loved every piece I've gotten of this and seen of it. It's just so pretty. It's like this, it looks blue on the camera. It's actually purple. It's like a dark purple. It's very pretty. And I think it's going to be an awesome background for that little Halloween piece. let's see. Other things I got. Another Etsy purchase. Y'all know my Disney obsession. I'm also obsessed with monorails. I literally collect every monorail thing I can find. So monorail pins, monorail shirts, monorail everything. If it's monorails, I have that. So I saw this on Instagram. This is from Stitchy Vibes. And literally within a minute of seeing it, I bought it. I had to have it. It's a monorail. I'm going to change it though because this is the red monorail. My favorite monorail is the black monorail. So I'm going to change this into the black monorail. It says, please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Which is, you know, the little spiel it gives when the doors open and close. So I'm super excited about that. That's also going to be a StitchCon start. I'm going to stitch it on 18 count white Aida, which I already have. I got it from Walmart, just plain old white Aida. Why buy anything expensive? I'm probably going to finish it in a hoop like that too. So I'm excited about that. And have a nice poop. We have this little poop. We have a little stuffed poop. Because my husband thinks the poop emoji is hilarious. So we have this little stuffed poop. And the little stuffed poop gets thrown around my house a lot because we'll throw at each other and say, quit leaving your shit around, laying around, or quit throwing shit at me. Every bad pun you can make about poop gets made with the poop emoji. So this, that's just, yeah, my husband's gonna love that. So I'm just gonna finish it and I'm gonna hang it in the bathroom and I'm not gonna tell about him. He's just gonna come home and start like busting out laughing because it'll say, have a nice poop. At Halloween, I got this like, it's like a sticker vinyl. It's not actually a sticker, it's like a cling wrap thing, but that goes on the inside of the toilet lid, so when you like lift it up, it's there. And it's a little ghost holding a roll of toilet paper and it says, boo! And I didn't tell my husband that I put it on the toilet, and I was in the other room and I could hear him like howling with laughter when he read it. And then he came out of the bathroom, he's like, I couldn't even pee, I was laughing so hard. So it's still there because it's, that's us. Like that's the kind of sense, I don't like toilet humor like in movies and stuff like that, but something about a smiley poop, I don't know, I think it's hilarious. I have a rainbow pooping unicorn in one bathroom. I mean, come on. And then my last thing, I actually said this to my husband one time and he's like, where did you get that from? That's hilarious. I'm like a cross stitch pattern. Behold, the field in which I grow my fucks. Lay down eyes upon it and see that it is barren. 'Cause why not? I'm gonna get the fabric and the threads from this. I'm gonna do this in hand dyed. This is gonna be my first hand dyed threads. I'm gonna do this all in hand dyeds, and I'm gonna get that at StitchCon. So that'll be another StitchCon start. I don't know what else I'm gonna start at StitchCon. I've got like a list of stuff that I'm taking to StitchCon. And I mean, it's 4 days of nothing but sitting and cross stitching. I wanna get so much done. I want to get so much done because I haven't had a chance to stitch on like anything. So my goal is to get as much stitching as I can. Like I want to start all these things and make progress on these things, and it's probably not gonna happen because I'm gonna be talking the whole time. That's what I do. So last thing I have to show you, I showed you in my last video that I finished Beauty and the Beast. And it has been at my framer since the beginning of March. And if I haven't had time to cross stitch, I've definitely not had time to drive to Columbus, an hour away, to pick up a piece at my framer during the day when he's open. So 2 days ago, I had a day off and I was like, I'm getting my piece because I want it to go on the brag table at StitchCon. So, time to reveal it. Oh my god, this thing is so heavy. There she is. Beauty and the Beast. In that beautiful frame. This frame is so gorgeous. I'm gonna zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. It is hand gilt, water gilt, French, in France, like literally in France. And then the insert right there in between the mats, that's an insert. You can kind of see the depth to it that matches this frame out here. It's the same wood and the same gilding. This is the most expensive frame I've ever put on a piece, and it was so worth it because it's so beautiful. And I'm so excited about it. Because it's perfect. It looks so regal. and so French and so perfect. So excited about it. I mean, I'm just blown away by how gorgeous this came out. So my framer really outdid himself. And I've mentioned before, I'm gonna brag on him again. Dave, Frame Makers of Palo, Ohio, just outside Columbus. If you're looking for a framer, if you're one of the people who used to get all their stuff framed at Keepsakes and you're looking for a framer, Dave is worth the drive because he does such amazing work. We took one of my grandma's old pieces up to him when I picked this up 2 days ago, and it had slid down in its frame, and Dave looked at it and he said, I can tell exactly why that did that, because they didn't build a mounting around it. They had just taped, and it was framed by a needlework shop, so I was kind of surprised by this, but they'd taken like acid-free masking tape and just taped the piece into the matting. Like it had been laced around a piece of mat board and then just laid down on the matting and taped. And so the tape had this piece has been framed for probably 15 years, and the tape had just kind of let go and it started sliding down in the frame. So instead of it being, nice even gap all the way around the outside of it, the stitching was now touching the mats. And Dave pointed out that the bottom two, it was triple matted, and the bottom two mats were not archival quality, and they were yellowing, whereas the top mat was, and it was still in good shape. So he's keeping the frame and the top mat on that, and he's redoing all the rest of it and actually building it into, it's like he does like a suspension using mat boards to build the frame around it so that there's no tape and nothing touching it. It's just, but it can't move. It can't slide, it can't break loose, and he does all of my pieces that way. And that's why he's so worth it. His frames are not cheap, but they're so worth it because I know they're gonna outlast me. I'm never gonna have to take it somewhere and get it reframed, because I've now had 3 of my pieces have to get reframed because they were not framed correctly. And I'm never gonna have to do that with one of his pieces. So he's worth going to. But I'm so pleased with it. And we're gonna have to rearrange where things are hanging in my living room, because right now I've got some stuff above the TV and that's where this is gonna go. So I've got to rearrange my living room a little bit, but I don't have to do it yet because that's going to StitchCon. I'm also taking Teresa Wensler's The Castle and the Hot Air Balloon Sunrise from Dimensions Gold that I showed in my last video. Those are going to StitchCon to be on the brag table. And then almost immediately after that is the Montgomery County Fair, and this is going to be entered in the Montgomery County Fair. So eventually this piece will actually get to be home for a while, but in the meantime I'm going to show it off because I'm so proud of it, and I think it deserves it. So extremely, extremely pleased. So other than that, and StitchCon, super excited about it. Only other life update I have to give is I mentioned in my last video that I was starting the last 2 classes for my associate's degree. Those are now done. So I do have my second associate's degree, Associate of Applied Science in Business Administration and Management. I finished that in late May, and I'm still waiting on it to actually come in the mail, but I can see on my transcript that I did earn it. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm probably not going to be starting working on my bachelor's degree this fall like I thought I was. I'm going to be out of town too much. So we'll see when that starts, but really excited to have finished that degree finally, and very proud of myself for that. So I'm going to end this video, and next time you guys see me, it will either be during or right after StitchCon. Bye!